Okay, hello everybody. Glad you're with us here. It is a Wednesday on Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. As you can see, Barry not with us here today. I'm glad to see the River Region Straw chat line already bringing that up before the broadcast even begins today. You guys are smart out there. You listen. Yeah, Barry off today. So Gurn Sr. sitting in today from an undisclosed location this morning. He's going to hop on throughout the morning here with us today on Longshore McKnight. Gurn, thanks for getting up early with us today. Hope you're doing well.
Well, my pleasure, John. As I told you, I've been burning up the roads. I was in Birmingham last night, headed back to the home base, and got up early this morning in the cold, put the dog out, and headed up the road. And here we are. Glad to be with you. Excited for another great show.
Man, what a team player. Love it. Outstanding. Obviously, a lot of things we're going to get to today on the program. I want to get some of your thoughts on a lot of the latest sports talk going around, not only in these parts, but nationwide for that matter, because there's a lot of discussion about the college football playoff. There's a lot of discussion about conference championship games. Heck, we've got some good basketball coming up as well. So certainly a lot of things to get to today. Just to let everybody know, CJ Duncan on Wednesdays, as always, he'll be with us at the bottom of hour number 1 today. At the top of hour number 2, a special guest today. And I don't want to reveal too much of it, but he has a podcast. He is part of a podcast himself. And a lot of you of our viewers and listeners might be aware of it. And we'll touch base on that as well. Like I said, don't want to give too much away before we have him on in the second hour. Josh Harris, the Moneyline Magician. I know, Theodis, you're excited about that. He'll be on at the bottom of hour number 2. So I guess there again, I don't know where to start because I got so many things that I wanted to discuss with you here this morning, Gur. But I guess the hottest topic, I guess we'll just start with that one, is the 12-team field that made the college football playoff on Sunday morning. Your thoughts about that? Happy, sad, mad, glad? What do you think?
Well, I was actually en route to drop a puppy off with Gurn Jr., and I was in the Trader Joe's parking lot in Birmingham while my wife was buying treats for us for the drive and some other things, and
kibbles and bits,
things like that. And so, it's one of those, it just shows you who Alabama is when they stayed at 9.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of, it also set up the other head-to-head, and it allowed them some cover and things like that. That's overblown. The Notre Dame thing, it'll go away. Maybe their coach will leave. Maybe he won't. Blah, blah, blah. They are, they are the NBC darling. They get their special deal. They have a lot of eyes around the country, and that's what makes them special. And they're a good program. Hell of a team. Yeah. I wouldn't want to play them in the first round. I don't think there's anybody that would want to play Notre Dame in the first round. Are they a better team than Alabama and Miami? Maybe so. They're pretty damn good. But their record is what their record is. I tell you, I take some kind of outrageous takes.
No, really, no.
Watch the JMU Oregon game. JMU. I watched some of that Troy JMU game, and they didn't play it well, but it was cold as hell.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Barry will tell you that.
Now, 2 parts to that. I've been to Utzen. Okay, it's one of the best places I've ever seen a football game. It's electric.
It looked electric on TV. I'll give you that.
It is. It is a strange stadium. It almost sits up on a hill. You go up these really high steps to get up to the stadium. The atmosphere is like an SEC tailgate. They actually have that. So it's it's not it's really cool. But I think they're soft. I just think they're soft, and they're, if there is I know there's a huge line. What is it? 20? I mean, I'm sure it's 20.
So you're saying that Oregon is soft.
I think Oregon's soft.
Okay.
I do.
All right.
And I just kind of smell that one as being closer than it should be. That's the one that kind of popped out at me of the 4. I love the fact they're on home campuses. I
Well,
wish the second round were on home campuses.
yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with that either. I don't know if you saw Luganville earlier this week. I thought Barry was going to hyperventilate when Luganville made this statement. I agree with it. I know Barry doesn't, and I get it. He certainly thinks Troy and the Sun Belt and a lot of these group of 5 schools are worthy. Luganville pretty much they're not. That they just don't need to be in this playoff, that they just do not have the resources, the depth, the money, the alumni base, all these reasons why teams like Tulane and JMU and whoever else don't need to be in this 12-team playoff. And I'm a little confused because one year the CFP committee, it's all about eye test and the 12 best teams. And then this year they're talking a lot of matrix and data points and strength of schedule and stuff like that. So it's very confusing. But do I think JMU and Tulane are 2 of the 12 best teams in college football? No, I don't. And matter of fact, I don't think Alabama's one of the 12 best from what I've seen over the last 4 weeks. But that's the way that they've decided it. I thought Urban Meyer also had a very interesting point. Why do we have a bunch of volunteers making billion-dollar decisions? And I think that's a good point, too. I don't think we need all these shows every Tuesday for 6 weeks before the final reveal and these people flying into Grapevine, Texas once a week. Let's have play-in games. Let's do it like every other league from the NFL to the YMCA, and you play your way into it. And if that means having 2 more games the weekend of the SEC championship and the Big 12 championship and whatever, so be it. But let's determine it on the field of play instead of in a boardroom in Texas.
Well, what's frustrating to me is if I'm a team that's not in the Big 4 or just outside, I'm never going to play for a championship. That's terrible. I mean, that's unfair. Why not have 2 divisions? I think instead of all these bowl games that don't mean anything, let's have 2 divisions. Figure out which division you want to play in, and it's still going to be good football.
Yes.
These are the teams. Teams they'll play each other and all that kind of good stuff, but the eyes are going to, you'll have product for ESPN and you get to pay for a championship. If you're playing peers, what if you had conferences with the Troys, with the Jack States,
sure,
with JMUs,
yes,
all that, and they're all part of that group and they're playing for their conference championship, which leads to a national championship tournament. And don't call it Division II, but just,
call it the group of 5,
whatever it is.
Yeah.
You can call it whatever you want to, but that's, ultimately with money, private equity and everything coming out, what's going to happen is you're going to have the strong are going to separate themselves into their own group.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. They're not going to allow the playoffs to have these 2 BS games. Okay. So they're going to say, no, you can't do it. And then you're shut out. Why not have your own championship group so that you can be the national championship of who you are?
Yep.
Let's all realize who we are. Okay.
I think that's a great point. And there again, I'm no TV executive or whatnot, but I would think with all the platforms that ESPN has, they got enough to show a group of 5 playoff, Fox, whomever else. There's enough ways to broadcast these games. And I don't know how many teams make up the group of 5. I know in, Power 4 division, I think D1 schools, there's 130 something of them. So I think the Power 4 should go to a 16-team playoff and cut it up. This 24 business that the Big Ten's proposing, I think's way too many. I could live with 16, the Power 4, then the group of 5. If they want to go to 24, that's fine. There again, I'm not real sure how many teams make up the group of 5. If 24 would be enough, if they want to go to 12 or 16, I get it. But I think you're dead on. Kennesaw State playing whomever in some bowl, I have no idea what it is, on a Tuesday afternoon. No, that people don't want that. And I think it gives the group of 5 more recognition, more fan involvement, more fan engagement. These conferences, these schools, They're still into it. They get into November. Hey, man, we can get into a playoff spot. And okay, granted, they might not be facing Oregon or Ohio State, but they're facing teams in their group of 5 to win a national championship. Tulane and JMU are not going to win the national championship. To me, they're just taking up space that could go to somebody that I think is better.
So when we were in Nashville for my law school reunion, we went to the tailgate for the Vandy-Auburn game, but didn't go to the game because tickets were $250 a piece at a Vandy game.
Did you ever think that was going to happen?
That?
Yeah.
So we went, Mrs. Gurn and I went to a sports bar in Green Hills, and it just so happened the North Dakota State fan club meets there every time to watch their games. I watched part of the game with them.
Yeah.
And it was packed. They were crazy. And I'm telling you, all these BS bowl games, they just want content. Give them good content on a playoff series with, call it, what do you want to call it? Group of 5 or whatever it is. Give it a nice name.
Sure.
F fill in the blank S or whatever it is, and make it happen. And I think you can make money off. They can make money off that.
No doubt about it.
They're showing the FBS stuff, so they'd show this stuff because it's better.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think it would be a better product. There'd be more interest. I think the television ratings would prove that out. Look, I know ESPN's looking for content. They can only rerun the NFL's greatest games or, whatever some of this stuff they put on as filler. So they love live sporting competition. That's why they pretty much broadcast 95% of the bowl games each and every December. They want live content, but I think they could get more. It could be better if it was a playoff structure. There again, nobody cares about the Weed Whacker Bowl in Shreveport or wherever the game's being played, so they're making it it's a greater value. They're back to content. They want live programming, but right here in Montgomery, I'm thrilled that Troy is playing in the game here in Montgomery, the bowl game next week. Jacksonville State's an in-state matchup right here in Montgomery. But at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday night, I don't understand. Now, I know Troy will show up. They'll be there. Jack
State will show up as well.
Yeah, but at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday, and
it's the holiday season.
They're just looking for content. I know it's 6 o'clock on the West Coast, but to me, that's just – is that a bowl game, really? Tuesday night at 8 o'clock?
All right.
I don't get that.
I'm gonna ask you a question that's been on my mind, and I've not heard anybody else ask this question.
Okay.
Back in the day, you always heard about bowl games. Why did kids want to play in the bowl games? What did they get? They used to get like thousands of dollars of goodies.
Yes.
They got like a PlayStation or they got whatever it is.
Yep.
Do you think anybody gives a crap about that now? They're getting NIL and
not at all.
And they're they've got everything they need on those type things.
No.
They've got every PlayStation. They've got every,
I wonder what they do give now.
Crypto.
That's a good point. I'm sure they get a warm-up suit and some swag and stuff like that. But yeah, they're giving out, I remember one bowl game, I think they gave him like a $2,000 Visa gift card or something, something like that. But
I will say the Alabama player with the Norwegian lineman with the ponytail, he's probably would be excited to get the gift bag. So
probably would. I know you're talking about, but I can't think of his name. But
even if you knew it, you couldn't pronounce it.
No, I couldn't pronounce
it.
But there again, I'm not dumping on the group of 5. I know I've had some comments about them over the years, and hey, they've been good to the Daily Dog, so I can't complain. But I just, there again, and the national media is all over it. Not only the Notre Dame thing, which we're going to touch on here in a minute, but, should JMU be in? Should Tulane be in? A team that got beat by 35 to this same Ole Miss team they're playing over in Oxford, which I understand tickets are expensive for that game too. I've got some relatives in Oxford, and whoo, those tickets are hard to come by. So playoff tickets are not cheap. But yeah, I mean, I think it would be. I think at the end of the day, I think the group of five, they'd be much better off having their own playoff. And I know that it's hard to go, well, they're kicking us out of the big boy league. You can't think about it that way. You got to think about how you can make what you do better.
Well, were you ever in the big boy league from a championship standpoint?
No, you weren't.
I mean, frankly, you could take half the SEC, the bottom half of the SEC. They're not in it either, but it's a revenue generation thing. I mean,
well, they got grandfathered in, I guess.
Would Vanderbilt be better suited in that group of five? Absolutely.
Yes.
Over the years, maybe this year's an aberration, but just say in general.
Well, from a competition standpoint, yes.
Yeah.
From a revenue standpoint,
absolutely not.
Yeah, Vanderbilt. People say, "Why is Vanderbilt still in the league?" I'll tell you why. Because every May they pick up a huge check.
Because you hear the sound of the cha-ching, and that's what that tells it all. I mean, it used to be like, like the Romans and the slaves. They're out there to get slaughtered.
Yep.
So.
All right, when we come back, I want to touch there again. Got a lot of things we're going to touch on today. But one thing that I want to get into when we return is your crystal ball, something that you brought up weeks and weeks ago that actually came to fruition. And we're going to talk a little bit about that here this Wednesday. Gurn Sr. sitting in for Barry, who's out today. As I mentioned, our usual lineup of guests. CJ Duncan at about 14 minutes from Yellowhammer News. Don't you go anywhere. Longshore McKnight continues after this quick timeout. Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
The dreams that matter most happen while we're awake, because they're the ones that remind us of the places we want to go, of the ideas we plan to pursue, of the legacies we hope to leave. We understand you have goals to meet, and we want to help you reach them, to fuel your vision and invest in whatever motivates you. So we want to know, what inspires you? Synovus Bank, member FDIC. The dreams that matter most.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
All righty, welcome back, everybody. So glad you are with us here this morning. Longshore McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy in association with our friends at Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com. You can check us out there. Video content, a write-up every afternoon about the show. Also on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, Spotify, Apple Tunes, wherever you listen or view your podcast, we are there. We appreciate it greatly. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and tell all your friends and buddies and associates. Now, to clear the record up, can you tell our viewers and listeners who are participating on the River Region Straw chat line how you actually spell Gurn? Because I've seen 3 different spellings on the chat line today. Well, you got to hit your microphone. Make sure you hit your mic. There you go. I've seen Gorn, Gern, and Gurn. How is it spelled?
Well, this is the origin story. So you're gonna get a quick story, and it deals with one of our great sponsors, RTJ, Cambrian Ridge.
Yeah.
We love the people at Capitol Hill as well. So back in the day, we moved the family from Birmingham to Greenville. Okay. And they would have scrambles out at Cambrian Ridge, and my buddy Bill Lewis they always needed an extra person, and so they didn't know who that was, so they'd always just put the name Gurn Blanston as the fourth person.
Okay.
Well, our mutual friend and pro at Cambrian Ridge there, Sean, he thought my name was Gurn Blanston, and he kept calling me Gurn. And so he didn't know me as my God-given name, so he kept calling me Gurn.
Sure.
And so, as things progressed, it was Gurn from Greenville, president of Vanderbilt, the Butler County Vanderbilt Commodore Club, things like that. So it's just slowly, and then now we've passed it down a generation. I mean, some things, some stink just hangs on in a so to speak.
That's exactly right.
That's the origin story. Just like Marvel Comics, how the superheroes became superheroes. You've now learned how Gurn became Gurn.
That's right. So what is the correct spelling?
It's Gurn.
Gurn. Okay, all you folks on the chat line, spell it right.
And if you Google Gurn Blanston, you will find that name originated with a Steve Martin bit back in the 70s. I didn't know that either.
Okay.
So, and John, there is a ice cream shop in the Perdido area, not far from where you venture. And on the wall, Gurn Blanston ate like 4 pounds of ice cream, and I got tagged with that, and it wasn't me. Not that I couldn't do it, but it wasn't me. So he'll show up from time to time, mythically.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. All right. So Gurn, several weeks ago, probably a month.
It'd be November 4th to be exact, somewhere around the 12-minute mark.
12. Whoa. Wow. He's got it time stamped and everything. You mentioned you gave high praise to Alex Golesh, who at that time was still the head football coach at South Florida for the Bulls, ends up becoming Auburn's head coach. Sell Alex Golesh to me. I'm still trying to buy him.
So I'm listening to the guys on. I tend to travel exotically around the state of Alabama, so I'm on the highways and byways. I can tell you every restaurant on the exits of 65 and 85. And so I'm listening to the afternoon drive guys on ESPN, and they have him on.
Okay.
And, those coach interviews, you've seen them, you've heard them. They're all the same thing. We're going to do this. It was different. Sure. I mean, it was absolutely different. I think Bobby Carpenter was one of them that was interviewing him, and he knew him from Ohio State. And so they're buddies. And so they got into the whole thing about the family immigration, living in New York. How did he get there? There was a family member up there, the whole deal. And I didn't really focus on the success he'd had as the UT offensive coordinator. But, I remember him from what is it, 2 years ago? Yeah, it was, 3 years ago, he almost beat Saban. I mean, that was that game.
For the record, his offense only put 3 points on the board that day for
Tyler. What was the Tyler? We call that game the Tyler
Booker. Yeah.
What? Yeah.
He went on to play lacrosse at Notre Dame.
At Notre Dame, went back to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But say what you will, I mean, that was a bad day, but he's had a lot of success. And his quarterback's damn good. And I assume he's going to be the quarterback at Auburn next year, no matter what you think. That guy is the real deal.
Okay.
And it'd be tough to handle. So I listened to it and I'm like, this guy he just kind of has it. Sometimes you listen to people, they're just doing coach speak. He kind of has it. Now, I want to say, I'm going on record here, and I haven't seen any memes about it, but you've seen him walking. They've shown the picture of he and his son. And John, I know you're not a Harry Potter fan, but if his son's not a Weasley, then I don't know who he is. He's the redheaded. I mean, he is a spitting image of his dad in red. I love the chunky redheaded kid. You know he's funny. I can just tell he's funny because he's smiling and he's eating it up. So,
well, I don't follow Harry Potter. Barry, we know exactly what you're talking about. Only thing I know about Harry Potter, I went on the ride down at Universal in Orlando and didn't really know what the theme or the plot was, but the ride was pretty good. I will give it that.
There you go.
So my thing about Golish, I mean, I've seen the numbers about the offensive statistics that his teams have put up over the years of scoring offense, all that type stuff. As I mentioned, they only scored 3 points in that game that Alabama played poorly and beat South Florida 17-3. But, just thought I'd point that out. But in overall wins and losses and records, this team's middle of the pack in their conference. I think their best finish might have been third in that league. The other 2 years, fifth and sixth. They don't beat a lot of highly ranked teams. They beat a lot of teams with losing records.
He took over a middle school team that had won one game before.
What did Terry Bowden do at Auburn? He took over a 500 team and went undefeated with them, 120 straight.
Look, they've tried a lot. Look at the record. They've tried all kinds of things and had some success. I don't think this is a bad try. I think it's probably one of the better tries out there.
So what do you think happened with John Sumrall?
Look, I mean, on paper, think about when we were in college, the hot chicks, the hot girls, Auburn's that really nice alpha gam. She's from.
And we're talking 40 years ago, aren't we? 45 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. I'm working with you here. I'm trying to think of the alpha gams that I knew. I know. Okay, a few of them are popping into my head.
Auburn's just a nice, sweet person.
Okay.
Florida is.
Florida's the fun school, maybe.
Yeah.
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 Okay. I got you. I wonder, though, if it was more of Auburn up to its old tricks. Hey, you're going to hire this guy, and we've already got your defensive coordinator, and by the way, we want you to run this offense while you're at it.
I think they're both dysfunctional.
I think Sumrall was more the, not doing that. There again, I've got better. As he mentioned in his press conference, we had offers. I wonder what that was about. What was he insinuating there? How many other people were knocking Alex Golish's door down?
Not
Arkansas.
I think he would have been the head coach at Arkansas if he wanted it. I mean, he'd be in the SEC. Not to get in the weeds too much, but Florida does not have an income tax.
Believe me, I've heard that many times.
He's gonna make more money net at Florida. Not that Alabama's income tax is that high, but he's gonna make more money at Florida net.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Golish is in a the track record kind of plays out. I mean, Brian Harsin was a winner before he got to Auburn. Hugh Freeze was a winner before he got to Auburn. I hope Alex Golish does not go down that same path. I don't get the feeling that he will, but he's making a big jump. I mean, nothing against South Florida, but he's going to a big-time program, jumping into the frying pan. Heck, I think Kalen DeBoer's kind of realized that. Whoa, this isn't Seattle, Washington.
What was Wyoming's record
before Pat Dye came?
Yeah, no. When Pat Dye left, I mean, was he just crushing it out there?
Well, I think Bobby Louder had realized that Dye had coached in the SEC and coached under Paul Bear Bryant for many a year, and Bryant was at the end of his tenure in Tuscaloosa, and the timing was right. And the way I understand it, Dye was eager to get out of Laramie, Wyoming. As a matter of fact, he told us that story one day on the show. So there's really nothing to do out there but go to the bars, which I thought was interesting.
Well, I'm going to pose this question as a long-time listener of you.
Mm-hmm.
what kind of show will you have if Auburn is successful? What will you have to talk about? I mean, seriously, if Golish succeeds, what are you going to say?
I have said this so many times, whether it was back in the days when we were doing radio or today, what we're doing currently. It is better when both teams are doing good. When one team's here and the other team's there, it's just not as good. But when they're both here, it's awesome. Both fan bases are into it. They're needling and jabbing one another. They're looking for good singers. I mean, it doesn't do any good when Alabama's going to the playoff and Auburn's through playing football. That's that's not what we want. But we can manage. We've done it for many a year. We can certainly manage. All right, when we come back from our next break, if this could be a first, ladies and gentlemen, could we have two Vanderbilt graduates on the screen at the same time? And I'll give you a hint. I'm not one of them. We'll see when we get back. It is Longshore and McKnight on this Wednesday, brought to you by Bud Light in association with Yellow Hammer News. Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
Man, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You got a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Tough to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Hey, I got you, Bud Light. Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. What'd I miss? I have no idea.
The Wrap Up the Year sales event is on at Stivers. Grand Cherokees and 3-row Grand Cherokee L's under 30 grand. Wrangler 16 grand off. And Gladiators 14 grand off.
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
The Wrap Up the Year sales event is on at Stivers with great deals on new Rams like 0% for 6 years. Laramie's up to 18 grand off. Bighorns up to 17 grand off. And Heavy Duties 12 grand off.
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 27 minutes to the top of the hour here on a Wednesday. As I mentioned before we went to break, teased it. I don't believe we've ever had two Vanderbilt graduates on the screen at the same time. It is happening at this very moment. Our man C.J. Duncan with Yellow Hammer News, former Vanderbilt player, went on to the NFL. And Gurn Sr., a graduate of Vanderbilt Law School. How about this, guys? Two Vandy grads on the screen at the same time. C.J., good morning. How you doing?
Doing well, John. You're outnumbered this morning.
So, John, it's even worse
today. So we've got our Gurn sitting in for him this morning.
It's even worse, though. I can claim I have been a lifelong Vanderbilt athletics fan, which is painful to grow up in Ozark, Alabama, and be picked on by every other fan base locally when you're wearing Vanderbilt garb and you're getting beat 66-3 by Alabama in 1973 or 4 or 5 or whatever it is. So,
but it's a new day, isn't it, CJ?
It is a new day.
It is a new day. I will say that I've had to actually be a part of one of those beatings in 2000. I think it was 16 or 17, and so definitely not a great feeling. But it's good to turn the table a little bit here in 2025.
CJ, was that the Tua game? I call it the Tua game. He came in.
That is correct. Yep. That's the Tua game, and all the guys who went on to be first rounders, they were all freshmen that year, and they all had an opportunity to play starting of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I went to that game, and that was
Yeah.
That was tough.
Yeah. Sure was.
Yeah, that was I remember that one as well. CJ, first off, your thought about the 12 teams that made the college football playoff. Do they have the right 12 teams in?
Of course they don't, and but we've said this even before the season. It's a work in progress. It's only, a couple of years old. It's at this level, at the 12-team level. But I think what really hurts you is the committee and these bylaws that say the top five, or the top ranked conference winners. That is where we really kind of missed the boat, right? You've got teams ranked mid-20s that are getting in a top 12 playoff here, and so you're really doing a disservice not only to the teams that have fought in tough conferences, that have tough schedules, that have overcome a lot during the year, who have really hit a lot of goals. Just to fit in a G5, and it's unfortunate, but that's the way that it plays out. That's what the rules say, and I think it's also a disservice to the fans. Two of the four guys that were invited to New York are not in the playoff. We only get to see them for a regular season, and I don't necessarily think that's what the fans really want. So definitely missed the boat there. Don't think Tulane or JMU are better than maybe the top 15 to 20 teams in the country. And guess what? Their rankings said that, right?
Yep.
Their rankings said that they were not that great. So at some point, we've got to fix that.
Is Alabama one of the 12 best teams in the country? I'm not so sure they are.
I don't see that to be the case. That was probably the most shocking part of the reveal, was Alabama not really moving at all. John, we talked about it before the game. It was one of those things where Georgia was headed, they were getting hot late, and Alabama was getting cold late. And there was no type of rhythm to the offense. Defensively, you could see holes there as well. They basically gave away the Iron Bowl, but Auburn didn't want to take it. I don't see them as a top 12 team.
Well, John, can you say, CJ, now they might be a top 12 team, but they're not a CFP team. When you add take the two guys that got in, below ranked, they could have been 12, but they weren't, they wouldn't have gotten in ordinarily, right?
Sure. I would, yeah. So basically, top 10 are the teams that usually, are legitimate in that playoff pool. The last two, they kind of leave up to, luck or whatever it is, G5 and ACC if Virginia would have won. But I just think, even with that, just take away the playoff, structure of it. If you just say the top 12 teams in the country, I don't see Alabama. I think there's teams that were including Vanderbilt. I think if they played again, Vanderbilt beats Alabama. There's 15 teams, 14 teams that would probably beat Bama on a neutral site right now. I just think that there's something off in the locker room. There's something off with their rhythm, and they're not on the same page. And injuries kind of play to that as well. But I do think there's been something off all year. They've gotten lucky in a sense, kind of end of games, things kind of the ball rolling their way. But sometimes when that happens, it's easier. It's easier to kind of look over the mistakes during film, right? You don't have as much urgency to fix those things that are wrong. Sometimes it takes a big loss to say, all right, we've got to nip this in the bud, so we're running hot later on.
Yeah, and I couldn't figure out the committee, CJ. I mean, over the years, it's eye test. My eyes tell me this team's one of the top 12 in the country. This year, it seemed to be about matrix and schedule strength and how you did in the month of October. And it was almost like they were just trying to convince the football world that Alabama was worthy. And heck, when they play Oklahoma, if they beat them, then, I think that people go, well, okay, man, Bama is a legitimate team. If they lose out in Norman, the Wolves are going to come out about, I told you, this team shouldn't be in. So we'll see how that plays out. But I think that's going to be very interesting a week from this Friday. What about Notre Dame? your thoughts about them being left out and how they've kind of reacted to not making the 12-team playoff.
You know, for lack of better words, just soft. Honestly, you just don't do that. That's not what you should be promoting. That's not what you should be teaching young men. You don't get your way. You go and pout. You run and pout, and it's just not the way that things go. There's been many a times where Nick Saban led a team. They're, top team in the country at one point, and they get snuffed. I think the first year of the playoff, maybe they got snuffed or something, like Bryce Young's year, and they go and beat Kansas State by a ton of points. But it was something that, it said a lot about their program and the leadership in that program and the guys that they have been recruiting. It's setting a standard, it's setting a foundation. And, do I think they should have been left out? No, but I don't think that was the right reaction.
You mentioned Diego Pavia. He is going to New York. I don't think he's going to win it. It just seems like the quarterback at Indiana has done so much over the last couple of weeks. I think that comeback win against Penn State was basically his Heisman moment. And then, of course, they beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. I mean, that hit he takes on the first play of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I'm thinking, whoa, he is done. He is out.
Right.
But nonetheless, I think it's quite an accomplishment for Diego to make the 4-team panel to head to New York.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's a big moment for our program. And to me, he's deserving of it. If you just accumulate the last 2 years, really, what he's been able to do at a program like Vanderbilt, completely turn it around. But we can't ignore his stats too, right? We always think he's just kind of a flash in the pan. Just kind of a backyard guy, which at times he gets away with. But statistically, he has played better than Fernando Mendoza this year, right? Fernando Mendoza's team may be better. And if that's what the award is about being the quarterback on the best team, then maybe Julian Sand should have it since he was number one the longest. But if we're talking about the best player, the most valuable player, I do think that Diego truly has an argument there. He has outperformed the two guys ahead of him currently.
CJ, do you think we will ever see another story like Diego Pavia in college football? I mean, you have to look at what impact he has had on a program, on a city, on a fan base. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. I was talking earlier. I did not go to the Auburn game, but I was up there. I didn't want to pay $250 for a ticket, a $250 ticket for a Vandy football game, because Vandy fans want to go, not because UT's in town and, their fan base wants to buy up all the tickets.
Hey, y'all need to expand your stadium up there.
Yeah, they have. And the stadium still functionally the worst stadium in the country, because you can't get out of your seat and get a Coke and get back before halftime. But that being said, it's really nice now. But especially for CJ and all the Letterman and all that, they get to have their perks. But seriously, the vibe, just the vibe he's provided.
Yeah, no, I would love to say, it begins and ends with Diego, but that's just not how history works, right? You've had your Cam Newtons, you've had your Johnny Manziels, and in the years of NIL, the evolution of NIL, I can't truly sit here and say that this will never happen again. When you're able to go out and buy your quarterback, there is a strong opportunity. I mean, you could even argue that Cam Ward was a similar scenario down in Miami. All the stops and the trials and tribulations he had to get through to get to his stardom, and ended up being a number one overall pick. And Baker Mayfield started at, Texas Tech, and then ended up at Oklahoma. There's a lot of situations or scenarios that we could point to, and I don't think Diego is the last one, but I do believe that we are truly grateful, and I think he came in probably into a worse situation than all those guys, and then was able to really turn around a complete city and program, and we're grateful to have him in our pro. I mean, we'll put him in the Hall of Fame next year if he wants.
So, John,
we're ready
you
to
heard
go.
you heard what happened with the the kid from Nashville Christian, 5-star. Did he sign, CJ? Did he sign? I mean, has he signed his letter, or does that even matter?
The kid that committed to Georgia that ended up flipping to Vandy?
Yeah, no, he's a Vanderbilt Commodore. He's a Vanderbilt Commodore. He has signed. Matter of fact, he won his state championship game recently. Had on his Vanderbilt jacket the whole time. And matter of fact, John, you'll appreciate this. There was a top receiver in the country that was committed to Alabama. And once he saw the Nashville Christian kid, the #1 quarterback, flip over, he decided, I'll just flip over as well, and we'll all stay home in Nashville. So we actually had multiple top recruits flip on signing day this year.
So this kid, John, Nashville Christian's not it's kind of an upstart private school. It hadn't been around like the other schools. So when this kid was like a 9th or 10th grader, it was one of the largest recruiting contest between Ensworth and NBA to buy him for high school, and he stayed at his high school and won a state championship. Pretty amazing story.
Multiple state championships. I think this is like number 4 or 5 or something like that. So
wow, that is awesome. All right, CJ, you've seen the bracket, you see who's playing whom. When it's all said and done, who's winning the national championship this year?
You know what? It is hard to see a world where, Ohio State doesn't win, and I feel like they're the most complete team. I know they just recently lost to Indiana, but they've kind of been there, done that. Similar situation to the Michigan loss year previous. To me, they just feel like the most complete team. There could be arguments for Georgia, but I just feel as if Ohio State and their consistency on both sides of the ball, it'd be hard to see them not winning it all again.
Yeah, that's kind of how I see it. The national media seems to be heading in that direction, getting a lot of Georgia love too. I see the Dogs getting a lot of recognition. I think it's going to come down to those two. I will say this though, CJ, I was thoroughly impressed with Indiana Saturday night. They kind of surprised me. I mean, I just didn't realize just how physical they are along the lines of scrimmage. We talked about their quarterback. I think their wide receivers are really good. So Indiana did surprise me a little bit. Not good news for Alabama fans. If they are able to win in Norman a week from Friday, then they got to head out to Pasadena and take on the Hoosiers. That looks to be a tall order.
Very tall order, and like Kurt Signetti said when he got the job, he's a winner. You can Google him wherever he goes. Yeah, he finds a way to win and wins at a high level. And he has a lot of history with Alabama, so that'll be a game that I'm sure he circles and would be excited to play in, like you said. So that would be a very tall order against a very disciplined physical program. They're just one of those programs that they want to stick around. They want to keep the game close, and they feel like they've got their Superman that can go win on the last drive. So those are the type of teams you hate playing.
Oh, no kidding. Hey, CJ, as always, man, we appreciate
John, we gotta ask him. We gotta part with this, okay? Because this is special. Coach Byington's got the basketball team playing really well, but there's something special about the Vanderbilt basketball team this year. I assume CJ knows it, but our star 6th or got to be like an 8th-year player is Duke Miles, who played at Lee here in Montgomery, and he's lighting it up. So he played at Troy, like High Point, and then Oklahoma. We played against him last year, John, and Alabama played them in Oklahoma. And he is now on the roster and playing well at Vanderbilt. So Montgomery's own Lee High School, Duke Miles.
Man.
You know what? Montgomery's all over the place. I see Ole Miss play and several other SEC teams play. And you see Montgomery all over the field. It makes you definitely proud to come from such a recruiting hub that Montgomery is. But to your point, Vanderbilt athletics, it just as a whole, we're as hot as we've ever been. I think we've got 5 different teams that are all in the top 15 of their particular sports right now. And that's including women's soccer that just won the SEC championship. So things are rolling in Nashville.
And CJ, I'm glad you brought this up. Wanted to bring just quickly as we head out the door. There was a time in Montgomery that we were going through a dry spell. There weren't kids going to college to play football and basketball, and it's amazing how that's turned around. I guess over in the last 10 years or so. I mean, there's a lot of great athletes, male and female, coming out of this Montgomery area. That was not the case for quite a while.
John, not to toot my own horn, but it was the class of 2013 when things started rolling again, and that was myself, and then also several other guys over at Carver, the Carver Wolverines. They had several guys go, but 2000 Jeremy Johnson and those guys, and then Sean Dion Hamilton came in 14. So that class of 2013 kind of set the tone, get Montgomery back on the map, and a lot of credit to the kids after us that kept it rolling. And KJ Jackson down at Arkansas playing really good ball as well, St. James grad. So glad to see Montgomery heading in the right direction.
Man, that is awesome. Hey, glad you brought that up. CJ, as always, man, we appreciate your time. Always look forward to it each and every Wednesday. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, CJ. Take care.
Thank you, buddy.
Take
Great
care.
insight and analysis from CJ Duncan, Yellowhammer News, joining us here as he does each and every Wednesday. Great chats on our River Region Straw chat line. One that caught my attention that I wanted to bring up. This is from Kane Lake 34. He says, Longshore, I'm hearing the former Montgomery Advertiser building might be the future home of a Montgomery sports entertainment arena. That would be awesome. I thought the same thing as well, Kane Lake 34. I do not know that, but the mayor is scheduled to be on with us Monday. I'll ask him. I know he's touched on that with us in his prior visits. I know that's something he'd like to see happen. Don't know, but we will ask if that's maybe why that property was purchased. We'll see. That's good stuff. All right, here on a Wednesday, Gurn Sr. sitting in with us today. As I mentioned, the top of hour number 2, a special guest. I'm going to go ahead and give you a little hint. There is a podcast, actually, I believe it is. I'm going to get him to explain it even more. It's called Way Offsides. Latest on Alabama athletics, recruiting news, portal, and NIL updates is what they talk about. I know one of the hosts of this podcast, and he was nice enough to say, I'd love to be on with you and let everybody know what we're all about, talk some ball and all that kind of good stuff. We'll do that at the top of the next hour. Josh Harris, Moneyline Magician, at the bottom of the next hour. Also, to let you know, just to go ahead and so you can plan it out, tomorrow, as always, Jason Caldwell of Auburn Undercover at the bottom of hour number 1. Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, at the top of hour number 2, brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. And at the bottom of hour number 2 tomorrow, our good friend Paul Feinbaum will join us of ESPN. Might have heard some news about Paul recently. He was considering running for the U.S. Senate. He's decided not to do that. We'll touch on that a little bit, as well as his thoughts about the college football playoff, Notre Dame's antics of late, and all the other good hot sports topics. That will be tomorrow. Of course, Barry will be back with us tomorrow as well. So, did Diego Pavia, was he trying to get another year of eligibility? Did I dream that? Or
Oh yeah, he got turned down.
I mean, give the kid a break. I mean, why not let him play?
All right, is this where Barry says this is time to go to break?
Well, we got a couple of minutes for you to try to get it as close to the top of the hour. That's another good thing about this format, Gurn. I don't know if, I still have a lot of my radio in my blood, so I still kind of think in the radio mentality. But, it used to drive Barry crazy. Well, one of the many things that drives him crazy.
Other than you driving Barry crazy?
Well, there's a lot of things that I do to drive Barry crazy. One of them was not taking commercial breaks at the appropriate time when we were on radio. You're supposed to follow this like clock. It's like a pie chart. And you're supposed to go to breaks at the designated times. I would kind of fudge on that from time to time. That would drive him crazy. The biggest thing, though, was top of the hour. because allegedly in the radio you're supposed to go to a break
it's a
at the
big
top
deal.
of the
It's
hour.
a federal law. It's like the law.
Station identification.
You to identify yourself at the top of the hour.
He would go ballistic. I go, everybody knows who we are. We ain't got to go to the top. Yeah, we got to go to the top of the hour break. Got to do it. So, yeah, I've been known to fun, but with this format, you can kind of you have more wiggle room. How about that?
How many times do you think he's said, D, can you believe John, and then fill in the blank? I mean, that'd be like one of those, what, Mad Libs or whatever. It says, D, can you believe John did this? And, the answer has to be, why wouldn't I believe that?
Well, so I think it might have even been yesterday. I said, Barry, can you come up with a top 10 list of the things I've done over the last 30 plus years in our partnership together that has irritated you? He said, 10.
10. That's exactly right. I mean, I think that would be, which he could do year by year, date, week by week. What do you want? He says, I've got them written down.
Yeah. So, okay. I mean, maybe I'm not the easiest person to work with. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to get better.
Are you really, though?
Yeah. I mean, I think I've kind of.
All right. Have you really evolved over the 30 plus years you've been doing this?
I think I've mellowed a little bit. I think I've mellowed somewhat. I mean, I think back to my early radio days. I was much more argumentative. I used to love to get into it with the callers and whatnot. And then I kind of morphed into, I'm just going to let them talk. Yeah, they go ahead and go at it. And then I'll just kind of throw in my 2 cents when it's said and done. But I kind of think I have somewhat. I hope I have. But I don't want to change too much. Like Billy Joel said, don't go changing to try to please me.
So since we're waxing nostalgic,
yeah,
I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Okay, you've done that a time or two.
What do you think about how have you handled or think about the format change from radio to YouTube? In a sense, like it's different, obviously, and pluses, minuses.
I love it. I mean, people ask me that question all the time. I loved radio. Don't get me wrong. But I saw where radio was headed. And I love this new format. I see a lot of people doing it. And there was a group that did this before we launched. And we discussed it with them. We talked to them about it. We picked their brain about it. And this was something that we certainly wanted to get into. Barry and I talked about stuff like this for years. And a situation arose, and it kind of, it kind of forced us, if you will, to do what we're doing now. And I love it. I love the video aspect. I love the audio aspect. I love the fact that our viewers and listeners can watch it on their time. In our other platform, you had to be there when we were there. And if you weren't there, you weren't getting it. But now people can consume it on their time. And we get a lot of reaction and feedback of people going, hey, man, I listen to you guys in the afternoon. I listen to you guys on the highway when I'm driving at 10 in the morning or 10 at night. I'll pull it up when I get home and check it out on YouTube, or I'll go to yellowhammernews.com and check you out there through their Facebook link, whatever it may be. So I do really like what we're doing right now. Now, I will say this, Gurn, I got to get up and comb my hair and kind of look presentable. In my old format, I could roll in and nobody knew what I looked like, which was kind of nice. But I do like this a lot. There's one element that I'd like to incorporate into what we do. I know we're working on it. I don't want to say too much about it, but I think once we get that element incorporated into what we do, it'll even make it bigger and better. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, and more things to come format-wise, other shows, things like that. There's a lot in the works in the R&D department.
Yes, exactly.
MDM Digital, the R&D department's working on various aspects.
And you're looking at the CEO of the R&D department. There on the screen.
Scary prospect, but as Nick Saban would say, you got to have top-notch players to win national championships.
Exactly. We're
kind of more of a Wake Forest.
What did Saban tell Mal Moore? I might not be a very good football coach, but nobody's going to out-recruit me.
That's right.
Which
That's right.
that certainly proved to be. I know you got to slip out for
I do, guys. Great morning.
Yep.
Really enjoyed it. Great way to start the day.
Man, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
I don't see y'all. Happy holidays.
Yes, sounds great. Gurn Sr. hopping on with us this morning. Really appreciate that. We're going to take a top of the hour break. And when we come back, we have another special guest that's going to join us. We told you a little bit about him, but we're going to get him to explain it in much more detail. He'll join me when we return. Also, Josh Harris, the Moneyline Magician, at the bottom of hour number 2. We've got the Phantoms Daily Dog. I don't know if you've been paying attention. Also, Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland 777 topic wheel will be a part of what we do next hour. And keep the chats coming on the River Region Straw chat line. There are a lot of great chats coming through. We want to hear what you've got to say. It's easy to do. Grab the chat. You can email longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. That's a good way to get in on the show as well. Let's take a top of the hour timeout. When we return, back with more Longshore and McKnight on this Wednesday. Prattville Carpet is the most trusted name in flooring in the River Region. Ray Bowles and his staff have an extensive line of Mohawk stain-resistant carpeting in all the latest styles and colors. Prattville Carpet also has hardwood, vinyl, and ceramic tile for all of your flooring needs. Professionally installed at the absolute lowest prices. Take advantage of cash and carry vinyl plank at just $239 a foot. Call them today to set up your free measurement for your home, office, lake house, hunting camp, or wherever you need flooring. 285-8117. That's 285-8117, or drop by 2201 Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville for Prattville Carpet.
You can be a winner too with Victoryland Casino's 8 days of giveaways. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. We're giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. That's right, Victoryland Casino is giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. Come play the latest and greatest games featuring exciting bonuses and huge jackpots. There's always more ways to win at Victoryland Casino. Off I-85, exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Get a head start on holiday travel with Montgomery Regional Airport. Book early and save big on flights to your favorite holiday destinations. Whether you're visiting family or living out your dream stay, you can count on MGM to take you there. Fly easy, fly MGM.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you're with us. Glad our good friends at the Montgomery Regional Airport are with us as well. Holiday travel plans, check it out at Fly MGM with great deals and great ticket prices, much more convenient and hassle-free when you fly from MGM. All right, hour number 2 is underway. I mentioned special guest joining us here this morning. I believe it's his first appearance. Well, not so much really his first appearance, but he's been a part of our show. You've seen him on the chat line as Way Offsides Jeff. He is part of a show that's broadcast podcast, Way Offsides, latest of Alabama athletics, recruiting news, portal and NIL updates, general conversation. Jeff Qualio, thanks for being on with us this morning, my friend. And man, I'm so excited about what you do with your podcast as a part of that.
We have a good time. We're very unhinged. So if there's any BAMs in the chat, I know there are a few BAMs out there. Come check us out. We're just a group of unhinged BAMs. We look at everything through crimson colored glasses. We try to be objective about things, but our crimsonness does shine through. So
Jeff, tell us. I know other people involved with your show. Are there live shows every Thursday?
Yes, sir. Thursday nights at 8:00 Central, 9:00 Eastern. We go live for about an hour and 20 minutes usually, unless there's something hot and the chat's live. We can go a little bit longer. We do live post-game shows. We usually go live right after the Alabama game ends and try to get fresh in the flesh reactions. Those are some of the best ones. Usually, if Alabama loses, it's like a hotbed of material.
Kind of like an LSU radio post-game show.
That's it.
Yeah.
Or a real-time Auburn radio broadcast. The meltdowns are epic.
Yeah. I will admit, I mean, people say, man, do you really? I say, yeah. I mean, the LSU post-game after a loss, I've said it for years. It is really, really good. So,
hey, LSU post-game when you're there is something, too. I got hit in the face with a rock after the Sean Alexander game in 56.
Yeah. Yeah. I've told people, Jeff, for years, just, wear a white shirt and pair of khaki pants. You don't need to get, throw all your Bama gear on. You're just asking to get, get abused. So, the post game reaction, I see a lot of guys doing that type stuff. Some of the post game reaction could be at 11 o'clock on a Saturday night, depending on when the game wraps up. I know, brutal. Speaking of LSU, I know they've got a big one. These guys are sitting at a bar, knocking back some cocktails and cigars and things of that nature.
That's true.
But to me, the instant reaction after the game, win or lose, I can see how that can get, probably kind of spicy.
It gets spicy. We even had some dog fans in the chat after we got blown out by Georgia Saturday night, coming in there to gloat and to troll us. So it's all in fun. We all take it with a grain of salt. Trolling is just in fun. There's never any personal attacks. There's never anything that's crosses the line. It's always just trolling your team if they lost or if they're losing. It's just we just have fun doing it. It's really just about having a good time.
And tell me of some of the other guys that are there on the broadcast with you.
Okay, so my main co-host is Way Offsides Cotton. Some of y'all may have seen his shorts. He puts out a lot of YouTube shorts, usually pretty daily stuff. So some of you may have come across some of Way Offsides Cotton shorts. He's my main co-host. We also have Bill Lampkin, a local Montgomery Bill. He knows quite a few folks around town, but Bill comes on occasion. He's military, so sometimes he's serving the country. Sure. And then our other friend Chris down in Mobile. He lives down in Mobile. He hasn't been on much lately. He's starting a new business, so he's really been working hard, focused on that lately. So it's really the four of us. Our friend Tobias in the chat, he comes on the show sometimes to get his opinion. He's always got good opinions. So so sometimes Tobias will hop in and give us a good take. So it's really four of us. It's mainly Cotton and me on a regular basis. And then every now and then you'll get the three and the four of us, but it's total of four.
So how did you get the name Way Offsides?
Okay, so confession, I was not a OG member of the band, so to speak. I was doing some content creation on my own, and we crossed paths with a mutual friend and kind of synced up that way. And we did some collaboration, and then they got good response when I came on. And so they called me one night and said, "Hey, we'd love for you to come on full time and be the fourth member of the team." So I said, absolutely. So that was about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know where the name came from or why there's 4 A's. Funny
it's
story.
Like it's way offside.
Exactly. Way. And funny story, I actually sent an email to Skip Bayless several months ago. And in the email, I was like, "Man, I love you, Skip, but you are way off." And I did the way with 4 A's, and he read it. And so I clipped it, and so we use it in the show now of him spelling way with 4 A's.
Oh, beautiful. I love that. That is good stuff.
We send him his 2-cent check every month. John, I got a beef to pick with you right quick.
Yeah, let's hear it.
This had me laughing yesterday.
Yeah.
When you were talking about your group of 5 tournament and how you love to watch blah, blah, blah. And I said, I've listened to you for 30 years. There ain't no way you're sitting around watching James Madison in Cincinnati on a Tuesday night in the group of 5 playoff game.
Okay, I hear you working. You're
going to check the score just to see who won and by how much. But I don't know how much you're actually.
I'll say this. I don't think I'm going to. It's kind of like baseball, Jeff. First pitch. What's going on in the 6th inning, maybe, I will say this. I believe I would watch more of it. And I don't want to define more right now, but I would watch more of it if it was in a playoff lose and go home type. To me, it adds more excitement, more interest in it. Just love the playoff, because there again, I'll watch more of these playoff games we're about to have than I will any of these other bowl games. I mean, I have no interest in watching these bowl games that are coming up. Just don't. I mean, what are they playing for? I know, pride, whatever. But I watch more of these playoff games, and I think I'd do the same thing if we had a group of 5. Man, look at this. Wow, upset here. They're moving on. There again, I've just always been
good players in there.
As you well know, Jeff, you've been listening to me a long time. I mean, 30 years ago when I first got into this, and when Barry and I were together, I say, "Barry, what do you think about a college football playoff?"
That's true.
We've needed it for
I've been saying it for a long time. Answer something in the chat. I am not Jeff from Billingsley. Ty, let's get that out of the way. I am not Jeff from Billingsley. That is not me.
We send out an Instagram every day of what's coming up on the show, and I sent it out yesterday. And believe it or not, Jeff, I had people emailing me, texting me back, go, "Hey man, is Jeff from Billingsley on tomorrow?" I went, no.
Sorry to disappoint everyone. It's just Jeff from Montgomery.
Yeah, totally.
Used to email the show back in the day of Jeff from Montgomery. That used to be my email sign off.
Speaking of chats, because I got a lot of questions for, but I want you brought this individual up, and he's got a good question. I'd love to get your thoughts about it as well. Tobias earlier this morning said, if Ty Simpson decides to return to Alabama, what do you think DeBoer does? Welcome him back, or with open arms, or tell him to transfer because it is the Keelan Russell era? What do you think about that, Jeff?
Ooh, God, what a tough spot for Debo to be in if Ty does decide to come back. I guess a lot of it may depend on discussions he has with Keelan. If they sit with Keelan and Keelan's like, yeah, man, I'll sit another year. This will be another year closer to the kind of roster that Debo wants. You know, we're still in that. Yep. We're in this flux gray area of transitioning out of the Saban roster into the DeBoer roster. So there's still a lot of holdovers from the Saban roster as we're transitioning into, you know, Debo likes different kind of linemen, likes a little bit lighter linemen, a little bit quicker, more athletic linemen, Parker Brailsford kind of linemen, as opposed to Caden Proctor kind of linemen. So we're kind of in a shift. So I'm like, what if Ty comes back next year and we've got a roster that's a little closer to what Debo wants, another year of experience, a 2-year starter now, older. You know, would it be the worst thing if he came back but if we lose Keelan, it's not worth it. But if Keelan says, hey, roll Tide, I'm here. I can learn another year. I don't have to play right now. It's not that important. Because let's face it, John, in college, you really just need one good year. Sure. You can sit 3 years, have one good year, and you're a first rounder. So, you don't have to play 3 years.
I've already thought about that too, Jeff, about the future with Ty Simpson. And at one point this season, he was a Heisman candidate. People were just raving about him. And Todd McShay said he's NFL ready today. And obviously we've seen his game has slipped, whether it's due to a nagging injury, who knows. But I think, Jeff, a lot of Ty's issues revolve around the offensive line. I don't think he's getting the protection that he needs. He's in a hurry. He's having to run for his life. He's not seeing the field as well because he's under so much pressure. I don't think his offensive line's giving him any help. And I'm with you. I think Grubb likes those smaller linemen that are quicker. And he's got a guy, like a Caden Proctor who can bull a guy down the field on a running play. But when it comes to pass blocking, he's got an athletic defensive end to battle.
It's over.
It's a tough day for him.
It's over if he's got a fast edge rusher. But, then Grubb doesn't do anything to counter that. He calls these long routes and these 3-5-step drops and gives the guy a straight line to the quarterback. And, it's like we're not countering anything. And the running backs don't do anything well. They don't do anything a normal running back does well. They don't pass block consistently well. They can't run the ball. We've seen that. They're not any home run threats. Well, Deere is, but, he doesn't play. There's no, I don't know if it's a coaching thing. Maybe another staff position Debo needs to evaluate. O-line coach, running back coach, Cap needs to go. Gillespie hasn't impressed me much, but I think it's a lack of talent and a lack of the right people in the right places to run the scheme that he wants to run.
The long deep ball, all those type things. I can't recall a slant route that has been run. Just run a quick slant.
What's the antidote to a blitz? Screen passes, quick slants, quick throws, 1-2 pop, quick throws, bang, bang, bang. That's the antidote. Grubb, the way Grubb calls games, it feels like he's not watching the game. It's like he's just looking down at his playbook and going, let's try play 78. Send.
Maybe Grubb needs to get back in the press box. Since he's been
and watch the game.
Yeah, since he's been down on the field, it's
incredible.
It's been a little stagnant.
The most self-sabotaging offensive coordinator I've ever seen.
And I'm with you. The running game, and I get it. Najee Harris and Josh Jacobs and Derrick Henry, those guys aren't there. I get it.
And they're not going to be.
No, but I tell you, Jeff, I'm amazed at just I hate to say this, but I don't know any other way to describe it. The lack of talent at running back.
I mean, it's thin, and I think it starts also in the weight room. When was the last time you saw Alabama's offensive line push a defensive line 5 yards off the ball? 2020, the Landon Dickerson offensive line. That's the last time you consistently saw an Alabama offensive line dominate in the trench, push. And this sports science, all these metrics and all this stuff they do, and then you watch a game and they don't get a 3rd and 1, and we don't get any push. There's no push anywhere, and it's like, man, what are we doing? So there's things everywhere, and we're not going to have a bell horse running back in this offense. It's just not. It's quarterback centric. It revolves around the quarterback. The running game is kind of like a complement. Oh, by the way, we're going to do this about 15, 20 times a game and whatever, but it starts and stops with quarterback play.
So what do you think changes? What will be different in Norman a week from Friday night?
I wish I could, John, with confidence say something would. But, this formula has been out since South Carolina. The South Carolina game, they put out there and said, this is how you beat this offense right here. Here's the blueprint. The defense forced some turnovers that won us that game, but the book was out there. And if you watch every game since then, it's been a steady regress because the book is out. They know how to defend it. They know Grubb can't counter a blitz, so they just blitz all night. Like, remember the Titans. I don't want them to gain another yard. You blitz all night. That's what they do. Yeah. And Ty's not shown the ability to think quick enough. The 4th down play was just an abomination, starting from top to bottom.
Yep.
But because he's having to think so fast, like he couldn't hike it, think, I could check down and get an easy first down. He already thought when he broke huddle, he was throwing that slant route because that's the only time he had to do it. And you're seeing he's skittish, and so I don't know that anything will change between now and Norman because Grubb has shown no ability to counter it for six weeks now. And it's like, what's 2 weeks going to have him doing what?
Yeah, good point. I mean, I know they're trying to get some
running back. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I was going to say, I know they're trying to get some key components healthy, and hopefully they can have them playing. I guess that'll help, but you're right. I mean, is the offensive line going to snap their fingers and get a lot better in 2 weeks? I don't see that happening. Are the running backs going to get any better in 2 weeks? Now, the national sports media, I guess, seems to think that will happen because they all think Alabama can beat Oklahoma next week. Alabama's a favorite. Vegas likes them as well. And we all know what happened in the last game. I mean, no doubt the stat sheet just blows you away, but that number at the bottom in the turnover column is what kills them. So I certainly, I'm not overly impressed with Oklahoma either. So I certainly could see Alabama winning. But, Jeff, you know as well as I do, if they go out there to Norman and lose, the football world is going to be going, told you, should have been in, didn't deserve it.
Oh, it's hearing it. I mean, you'd think Alabama was 5-7 getting in the playoffs, the vitriol that's coming. And everybody's hyped about Notre Dame. And I'm like, why Notre Dame? Why isn't anybody fighting for Vandy? Vanderbilt has a better resume than Notre Dame. I think Vanderbilt would kick Notre Dame's butt. So why isn't anybody pounding the desk for Vanderbilt? They have the best player in football, and why would you not want them in the playoffs?
I got to think the television networks, Jeff, are going, whoa, hold on here. We're paying you guys billions of dollars. We don't want James Madison in Tulane. We want Diego Pavia because the world knows who he is. We want Notre Dame because they, the world knows who they are.
That's where you'll see change, John. When the TV come in and says, we're not televising this game. They're going to say, new rules to the college football selection.
I hate to use a comment that drives Barry crazy, but hey, Tulane, JMU, hate it for you, but you don't belong. I mean,
bye. You're just. Does the NFL let USFL teams in the playoffs just so they can feel good about themselves?
No. And I do think my group of 5 playoff plan is really good. If I do say so myself, I think that'd be great for the group of 5 and let them really get some excitement and some notoriety. All right, I wanted to touch on this, Jeff, because as I mentioned when you came on, you guys talk a lot of recruiting, a lot of portal, a lot of NIL news as well. What are you guys talking about? What are you guys thinking about in terms of transfers in and out at Tuscaloosa. Some portal news maybe you could share.
Well, the main thing where everybody's thinking all the same thing. There's going to be a quarterback that leaves. There's going to be probably a couple of running backs that hit the portal. Probably a couple receivers that are going to hit the portal. These are all kind of standard operating. Every year now you're going to have guys hit the portal that think they should be playing that aren't playing. And kudos to them. Football players want to play football. Unless you play at Notre Dame, then you don't. But the football players want to play football, so that's what they're going to do. So there's obviously been nothing concrete out there, but I think anybody that follows Alabama closely knows that one of the quarterbacks is probably going to go because we got some good quarterbacks coming in. Keep an eye on Jet Tamala. That guy's a gunslinger.
Yep.
But there's going to be only one football for so many guys, and so I think you're going to see at least one of the probably Austin Mack is my guess. I don't think they're going to. Let's be honest, John. If DeBoer is sitting in the room going, Mack or Keelan Russell,
yeah.
If he's by himself, we all know he's going, I love you, Austin. It's great you came across the country for me, but the golden goose.
I almost wonder, Jeff, if they just kind of maybe tell Ty Simpson, it's been great. Because to me, Kalen DeBoer was so successful with a guy like Michael Penix Jr., and I don't see that in Ty Simpson. I do see that in Austin Mack and Keelan Russell.
Mm-hmm. You see far more athletic, that style. That's why I think Keelan Russell is the guy. That's the guy that this is going to be built around. You're seeing him recruit bigger receivers, more explosive running backs. The thing with the running backs, it's like they run Jam Miller and Daniel Hill, and then they put A.K. Deere in and run the exact same 3 plays.
Yep.
And it's like he's a different kind of running back. Why are we running A-gap running plays with the fast scat back, the Jahmyr Gibbs kind of back? Get him in space. That's why I can't figure out. Like the running plays are all the same.
Yeah, they are.
I'll get on a whole different thing.
It's not the variety is different. Now, Grubbs will throw some rinky-dink stuff in there. I mentioned earlier in the week, I think the longest pass completed was Jeremy Bernard throwing it back across the field on a flea flicker trick play last week. I mean, the trick plays are fine, but you can't live and die on running trick plays every game.
He's like the momentum killer. Like Grubbs, like, man, we got something going here. Let me botch it up by running this triple reverse, double fake, double screen receiver, and then and then Jeremy has to go Superman just to get to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I mean those only work in the backyard. I'm telling you, that's the only place they ever work.
Like, stop.
Is
he sends Tyler the line with 83 plays he has to check out of. I'm like, send him A or B. If you see this, go A. If you see this, go B. Like,
yeah, pretty simple. What about from what the numbers tell us, what the rankings tell us, Kalen DeBoer's got a staff that can recruit. What do you think about the haul that they signed last week?
Y'all listen, what Courtney Morgan and Kalen DeBoer are doing recruiting is one of the most impressive things I've seen. And I'm not the recruiting guru. That's Cotton's area. Cotton will talk recruiting till the sun goes up and then goes down. Everything I know, I usually know from him. But the classes that Debo has signed these last 2 years, the amount of talent, like this year we only signed 17? USC signed 35 and then boast that they got the top class. That they signed 35 kids and had 5 more points than Alabama, who's had 17.
I've always said, Jeff, it's quality, not quantity.
Bingo. And that's the difference now. And Courtney Morgan said, we are going to pay our current SEC players more than we pay high school kids coming in. We're not going to start paying high school kids more than the current players on the team. Kudos for that. Like, here's the way it's going to be. If you're in, you're in. If you're out, move on. We'll go on to someone else. And so you're seeing, bigger receivers, more athletic linemen. Michael Carroll, for example, that guy's got NFL written all over him, but he's a little bit lighter and faster, can do a little more things. So the fact that he had to replace Nick Saban, which, let's be honest, nobody will ever have to replace somebody that played for 9 championships in 17 years. That will never happen again. Okay, so nobody's ever going to have to replace a coach that did that. Nobody's ever going to have to replace Nick Saban again. Okay, so he had the toughest job replacing the guy in this unhinged fan base, and the expectations are really just insane. And he went 19-7 into his first 2 years. Isn't that what Saban went?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got to give him a chance. He's recruiting well. They're signing really good players. We had Xavier Griffin on the show a few months ago. Solid kid. His mom came on too. Solid family. We had Jet Tamala on the show. Solid kid, man. The guy said, I was committed to, I can't remember where he was committed to, Crumpall State, whatever.
Yeah.
And then said, man, I looked at the quarterback room at Alabama, and that's where I want to go compete. I need to be in that room to get the best out of me. So he embraces, give me all the best quarterbacks. That's the room I want to be in. You can't coach mindset like that. You got to find a guy that's got that in him. And I think, we've got some good quarterbacks coming in, and I just think Ty's another Saban guy, and Ty's a good quarterback, but I don't think
I'm with you. I hear what you're saying.
The guy.
Yep, I get it. I definitely get it.
Crowell's a beast.
I think Ty's a great face for the program, but there again, is he going to win for you? Does he have it all? Is he really the guy that fits that Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb style of play that made them so successful? I think you got to really take a long, hard look at that. Jeff, man, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you hopping on with me this morning. Once again, let our viewers and listeners know, you guys are, I think you said live on Thursday nights, and then, of course, during the season, instant post-game reaction.
We're going to be doing some basketball post-game stuff too when basketball season really ramps up. And then, like I said, keep an eye out for the Way Offside shorts. My man Cotton's in the chat. I see him right here in the chat. So shout out
that too. Yeah.
Shout out Cotton. He's down in Florida, in St. Augustine, Florida. So
awesome. If you could comment, one of our chatters, I just saw this earlier. Bama just got a commitment from a tight end for the 27 class. Can he play now? I think they need that guy right now.
The Cuevas injury is a massive void. It is a massive void. And before I get out of here, John, I'm going to start one thing when I come on here. Find the realist. There's so much content. The realist needs to be found and returned to our airwaves. The legend so realist is out there.
Jeff is an old school, been with us a long time. Hey, I'd also like to bring back some of our female participants from days going by that were really a big part of the show too. Those are some really good
the realist.
The realist. All right. We
epic
will
call.
Put out an APB for the realist. I'm with you. Sounds fantastic. Jeff, once again, thank you so much, my friend. We'll do it again.
And this is a dream come true for me. So thank you. Thanks everyone.
You got it.
Roll Tide.
Yes, sir. Way Offsides, Jeff joining us here this morning. Check them out on their podcast. I think if you're a Bama fan, you'll love it. If you're a football fan, I know you'll get something out of it as well. And just for the record, no, that was not Jeff from Billingsley, but he's another one that could hop back on. And Mrs. United, where are you? I mean, come on. Got to have you, Mrs. United. That was some great stuff as well. Okay. When we come back, 27 minutes past the hour. When we come back, we're a little late, but we're going to get to it. The Phantom's Daily Dog. We're going to do that when we return. Josh Harris, the Moneyline Magician, also scheduled to join us here momentarily as well. We got a lot going on here, a fast-paced Wednesday. Barry back tomorrow, but we're going to take a quick time out and be back with you right after this. Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information. Marguerite's has done it again. Famous for their $99 Christmas special, and Lyle has come up with the best I have ever seen. Half-carat stud diamonds, $99. That's right. Half-carat stud diamonds, just $99, but there's a limit of 3. So you need to hurry out to Marguerite's in Pepper Tree on Vaughn Road, adjacent to Chappie's Deli. Marguerite's, of course, is open extended days and hours during the Christmas holiday shopping season. So make sure to take advantage of this year's incredible Christmas $99 special, half-carat diamond studs, just $99 from Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. They make it. They really make it at Marguerite's. Okay, back at it here, about 29 minutes past the hour on this Wednesday. Longshore and McKnight presented by Bud Light. All right, Phantoms Daily Dog. A couple of teams that are national champions in basketball. UConn, Florida, done very well in men's college basketball, and last night was a great game. This was part of the Jimmy Valvano Classic there at Madison Square Garden. There again, Florida and UConn going at it. And I got to admit, I didn't watch the entire game. I know that shocked you, but I did see bits and pieces of it. And UConn looks pretty dadgum good, I will say that. But we had the Florida Gators last night as our Phantoms Daily Dog of the day. The Gators catching 5.5 in this game. And I got to give Barry McKnight credit, and I would have still won at 4.5. But Barry checked me on it yesterday and said, whoa, I think I'm looking at 5.5. Whoa, hold the fort. Hold on, let me see. Bam. They were catching 5.5, so we certainly took the better value there, but would have won with 4.5 nonetheless. But Florida loses the game. UConn wins 77-73. Do the math. That is a cover. So the Phantoms Daily Dog for the 6th straight night, I will, just to let you know, that's 6 straight dogs that have covered for the Daily Dog. So last night was a winner as well. What's tonight? Well, what about this one? It's something called the NBA Cup is going on right now. They did it last season. Maybe this is the second or third year. Who knows? But they're trying to jazz up the NBA in December when really nobody's talking much about it. And, of course, they'll have the playoffs and the finals in the spring. But the NBA Cup is going on right now. And don't ask me for all the parameters and who's in and who's out, because I know every team in the league does not participate in it. You've got to be at some record or some point in the standings to be involved. So tonight, the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup are going on. I'm sure there's people out there, our majority of our audience, what the hell's the NBA Cup? Well, I'm educating you here. Quarterfinals, NBA Cup. I believe there are 2 games tonight, because I know I'm looking at one, but I want to make sure that we've got more than one if you are interested. Tonight, we have Phoenix at Oklahoma City at 6:30. And we have the San Antonio Spurs at the LA Lakers at 9 o'clock. If you're interested, last night, Miami was in Orlando where the Magic won 117-108. The New York Knicks were in Toronto where they beat the Raptors 117-101, just to let you know. So we're going to go to tonight's game in Los Angeles where the Lakers are hosting the San Antonio Spurs, the much improved San Antonio Spurs, I might add. 9 p.m. on Prime Video. We're taking the Spurs plus the 6.5 at the old fogey Lakers. It's an old team. Spurs, a young team. We're going with them. Will they win the game outright? Don't want to go that far. But as Josh Harris will tell you, it ain't about who wins and loses. It's who covers the spread. We're taking the San Antonio Spurs plus 6.5 for the Phantoms Daily Dog. Josh, what do you think about that pick tonight? Josh Harris joining us here from Yellowhammer News. If I can get there, he is. Hey, Josh, how are you?
Doing pretty good. Let's do it. I can't pick a winner, so I'm going to go with the Phantom. That's fine. I can always choose a winner.
Love it.
Let's do it. Give me something to watch in the middle of the week.
Exactly. Got to have something exciting on a Wednesday night. All right, I know the NBA is not your expertise, It's not mine either, but let's get to, Alabama football and the college football playoff. Josh, I think Alabama kind of dodged a bullet in being humiliated on Saturday afternoon in Atlanta, in less than 24 hours later. Boom, hey, we're in the playoffs. Hey, don't look what happened over here. Look what's happening here. What do you say?
Spot on. That was like I was at the game, so I'll tell you, I walked into that stadium. And the minute I walked in, you're hearing barking, you're hearing who's that coming down. Like It was it felt 90-10. We were in, I'm sure it wasn't, but we were in the Alabama section, probably 40-yard line, upper deck, not an Alabama fan in sight. Ooh. 6 of them. Oh. 6, and that you couldn't even turn around and high five. It was well, there was nothing to high five on. It was the worst experience I've ever been to in a sporting event. It was really. We were outnumbered. We were just there didn't seem to be an Alabama fan in sight, and it was awful. But then
let me ask you this: I read a column. And I can't remember exactly who wrote it. I want to say it was Casagrande at AL.com, but I got to check. He had mentioned that it wasn't sold out. There were empty seats. And it's basically, his article was that conference championship games are passé. It's just not what it used to be in 1992 when they first started.
Yeah, it sounds like someone from AL.com wrote that. It came from Alabama because there were no Alabama fans there. The Georgia fans sure seemed to think it was a big deal and be excited about it. It was I was pretty disappointed with our fan base just in general.
Do you think it's because they didn't have a lot of confidence in winning, or maybe they've just traveled so much over the years?
Both. I think it was a little bit of both. But then just after the game, the amount of people I saw online saying, I'm an Alabama fan. We don't deserve to be in. We stink. Ty Simpson stinks. It's just like, so the people are watching the eye test. We got in.
Yep.
Because we got the best politicians in the world. So, but it's the fans the people are looking. So say positive things, hype up the team. I mean, you got to say what you're feeling, but the people were crying. And
you even had Damian Harris and Mark Ingram, former Alabama running back, saying they shouldn't get in.
Right. People shut up. Like you're on. This is, especially if you play for the team, this is the eye test. Do people think you don't need the committees? Well, clearly not. Looking at that stuff, I sure thought they were. But it was it was great though, because right after that loss, you have a night to sulk. You're like, world's coming to an end. And then you get in the playoffs and you're like, hey, good to be a Bama fan.
We're back.
Sucks to be Notre Dame. Not only that, we get a great draw.
Okay. So I wanted you to break that down. There again, what happened Saturday afternoon was not pretty. We get it. And I think Georgia came in really on a roll, a lot of momentum, playing really well. Alabama had been kind of on a downward spiral, if you will. A lot of injuries to key positions at Alabama. Get it. So we've rinsed that away. Now they get a chance to redeem a loss earlier in the season to a team that the stat sheet says they should have won by 3 touchdowns, but they turned the ball over. What will be different a week from Friday night in Norman?
Hopefully we don't turn the ball over. That's all we have to do is not turn the ball over. And it does feel a lot like the Florida State game, right? All hope is lost. People are upset. They're calling for people's heads. And it seems like that team is kind of previously, you've heard little snippets of people saying that's fueled them. Like that's the rat poison this year isn't coming from the media. The rat poison's coming from our fans. People are, I think they've used that as some fuel. So let's see if they can do that, turn it around. And if we just don't turn the ball over straight up, we win that game. And then you got Indiana, who's, they do look really good.
Yeah.
there ain't no way I'm believing we can't beat Indiana.
It's like shades of 1926 when they went out there to play Washington in the Rose Bowl, and you see what happened. Maybe that happens if they get to play in that game against Indiana.
Yeah, and then it really is just a crazy draw. It's a crazy draw, and I do think like we Notre Dame though is just to touch on that. Like they are not an Alabama. They're you can call them a blue blood if you want to. I know there's a history behind Notre Dame. Blah blah blah. They hadn't won a national championship since '88, right? They don't play anybody. They're a bunch of crybabies. Like they're not on the same level as an Alabama, Georgia.
Yeah,
like they're just not. And so we are. And so I think I'm not saying that we need to. That this is right for that you're getting selected based off eye test but that's just part of it. There's a committee that picks these teams.
So Jeff, I'm thinking of Jeff who was on earlier. Josh, Notre Dame's been a big topic of conversation here on this program this week. And I've asked the question and I still don't get an answer. Why does Notre Dame get preferential treatment? You just mentioned hadn't won a title since '88. Alabama blew them away in 2012 and in 2020, I believe it was, in the Rose Bowl, which was actually played in Dallas. Was at that game, and it wasn't even close. Similar to the game in 2012. I don't get it. I mean, why do they get preferential treatment? Why do they get to tell the ACC what they want to do? And now they pretty much crapped on the ACC and saying, "Hey man, don't you've done permanent damage to your biggest partner. Come on." And then they're taking their ball and going home. Oh, we're not playing in a bowl game. Why do people put up with this?
They shouldn't. I think I really am interested to see how this pans out. Because you see the commissioner of the Big 12 just came out and said, like, we're not this is a clown show. Like, I can't. And if you want to leave, what conference is going to take you? Like,
yeah,
we're not. SEC isn't going to take you. ACC, you don't want. You want to go to the Big 12's coming out and saying we don't want you. So where are you going to go?
Yeah,
like,
I would. To me, I think logically, you'd think they would fit in the Big 10, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I just don't like the way that we're high and mighty and we should be in. And there again, Josh. Next year, if they finish in the top 12, they're in. No matter what. Why do we make these special rules for Notre Dame?
I have no idea. Maybe it's the squeaky wheel gets the oil, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe
just let them play on NBC and get that money from them, and just leave us alone. Because there again, they got beat by A&M, got beat by Miami, both ranked teams. The only ranked team they beat was Southern Cal. It's not great.
Who hadn't been relevant for years. Like, they hadn't been relevant since Matt Leinart and Reggie.
And there was a lot. Lincoln Riley came out earlier this year. We don't need to play Notre Dame. We don't need to play them every year. What does Notre Dame do if Southern Cal does pull the plug on that series? We don't need you. Well, we don't need you.
I think a lot of people are going to pull the plug because they've proven that the SEC isn't going to play them. We've got 9 conference games. Nobody's going to want to play them to add to it because it just shows that doesn't help you out that much.
Yeah.
The only teams that need to play them are the crappy ones that are in bad conferences and can't get a win.
Sure.
Anyway.
And probably picking up a paycheck as well. I thought this was interesting as well. Just for discussion. I think we all like Ty Simpson. He's done a great job as the face of the program, but he's had a tough month, tough 6 weeks. What would you suggest or recommend to Ty Simpson about his future? Should he try to go to the NFL draft? Do you think he should come back? Do you think he'll be the quarterback next fall at Alabama?
I think he ought to go to the draft. I've seen the draft boards look like he's still, I think he's got to go. I think it's depending. I say that, but I had the conversation Monday night with a buddy, the whole Quinn Ewers situation.
Yeah.
He could have stated, monetarily, let's just take money aside, which is a big reason, right?
Yeah.
But he could make more money potentially staying at Alabama. but I think, I think he's going to be a good NFL quarterback. I mean, he seems to have the intangibles. Like, we're not really blocking for him. He's showed that he can play really well. And I don't see him being the quarterback next year. I think he's going to go to the pros.
Yeah, and I think, the Kalen DeBoer, Ryan Grubb success was based on a guy like Michael Penix Jr. and that's Keelan Russell.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's so funny. You see how let's just call a spade. Michael Penix has not been good in the NFL.
No.
And
the Falcons are 4-8?
Right. He's been hurt. Kirk Cousins comes in. He stinks too. And, but it shows how good Grubb and DeBoer were. They with that quarterback made him a Heisman finalist, right? So, it's a big deal. So, I think, and I'm not opposed to, if Ty's not playing good in the first half, like, we've done it before. Saban made it okay to bring in. That's one position we do seem to have a next man up, right? Is the quarterback.
Should DeBoer put one of those guys in last Saturday?
No. That game it didn't matter what the hell we did. That was just, we were done. I mean, I'll tell you what, that was I can't even talk about it. I mean, it was the worst.
I don't want to bring up a bad stuff. So let's turn it to positive. Next week when we have you on, you're going to have a week to really digest it, think about it, lay it all across the table, and come up with a prediction. Looking forward to your thoughts next week about Alabama at Oklahoma. Friday night could be a weather game. You never know. Mid-December, going to be cold. Could be some snow.
Snow would be bad. That doesn't seem like you hang on to the ball in the snow. So that would not be ideal. I feel good about it. I feel like you couldn't have gotten a better draw. We couldn't have gotten a better draw.
I agree with that.
I don't
think Alabama wanted to go to College Station.
No. I feel good. I don't feel good about how we're playing in the least bit, but I feel good about playing a second team again, after losing to them 2 years in a row. Last one being, let's not call it a fluke, but if we keep handing the ball.
Unusual. It was an unusual game.
And they don't seem to be that scary. I mean, they just don't seem, but we don't look that scary either. So, but we've shown if we can get back to that 4-game stretch that we had in the middle of the year, we're dangerous. But if we keep playing like we're in big trouble.
All right.
And health, we get healthy. So
that's a big if, but I'm with you. They can get healthy, particularly Cuevas. That would be huge. All right, Josh, man, as always, we appreciate your time. Looking forward to your final prediction next week when you join us here on the program. Have a great week, my friend. Thanks as always, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Have a good one.
You too, buddy. Appreciate that. Josh Harris, the money line magician, joining us here today. Going to take a break, and when we come back, not only are we going to have the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel, Gurn Sr. is going to be back on with us as well to help us cipher through these topics. As you know, we have no idea what Gurn Jr.'s come up with. So we're getting these on the fly as you are as well. Going to be fun as we go through the topic wheel when we return. Quick timeout. Longshore and McKnight, brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy in association with our good friends at Yellow Hammer News. The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272.
Welcome to the holidays. They're officially here. Time for tradition, family gatherings, meals, and the annual scramble of searching for those last-minute gifts. Speaking of gifts, this season Budweiser's got your back. Head to the store right now and look for our specials. Why go all over town looking for that perfect gift when Budweiser takes care of everyone in one convenient ice-cold package? When you stock up on Budweiser with our specials, you'll have plenty to share with your friends and family. They'll all appreciate that Budweiser's brewed the hard way and has been for 140 years. We use the finest barley, malt, and hops grown in Idaho and Germany. We don't take any shortcuts when we're brewing. That's our tradition. So make the most of your holidays. Stop by your local store now for our specials. Grab enough Budweiser for yourself, your friends, and your family. It's a new holiday tradition everyone can enjoy together. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You can be a winner too with Victoryland Casino's 8 days of giveaways. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. We're giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. That's right. Victoryland Casino is giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. Come play the latest and greatest games featuring exciting bonuses and huge jackpots. There's always more ways to win at Victoryland Casino. Off I-85, exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older. Must be present.
All right, make sure you head out to Victoryland and get your share of all that cash and prizes that they are giving away during the Christmas giveaway at Victoryland. All right, Gurn Sr. is back. Gurn, we do something called the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. Gurn Jr. puts this together. Have no idea what these topics are about. We're seeing them for the first time. We're commenting on them for the first time. I know you're excited about this. I don't think you've ever participated in the topic wheel.
I don't know that I may have participated one time, but I'll say it is, I hate to say it is my favorite segment. I don't hate to say it. I'll say
sure.
it.
Yeah.
But I am a little nervous. I'm a little nervous. No telling what he might put on there. I hope he doesn't, there could be things on there like Gurn Senior sucks or something
Could
like
be,
that.
yeah.
I don't want to see that button,
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, he comes with a potpourri of topics. I'm telling you, there's a wide variety. So what do you say? We get it's loosened up. It's warming up. Let's spin that bad boy. See where it lands. The Victoryland.
Remember, there's no wagering on the outcome of the color.
That's true. You cannot wager on the outcome of the color. Banana Nightmare. Is this the Savannah Bananas? What do we go? Oh, okay. Rory McIlroy. Wait a minute. A banana peel?
Yes.
Somebody threw a banana peel? Are you kidding me?
Somebody,
No way.
it's probably a fellow player. They have bananas and apples and all that, everything. It was in there, and they wouldn't let him. They would not let him take a drop because of that, because it is that's a man-made obstruction. It's not something natural. So,
yeah, well, see, I mean, this gorse that he's hitting out of here, I mean, why'd they let that stay? They should have just chopped that off.
That's a bad leave on the grounds crew to have one little. It's almost like one of those Van Goghs or something, like the guy that has the beard on the chin. It's just sitting there. What's the odds of hitting it in that one little patch?
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's bad luck.
That is bad luck. Yeah, that's terrible luck. Rory, hate it for you, my man. And the banana peel? Come on, man. Throw it in the trash can. You kidding me? What's up with that?
Well, it could be natural composting. A lot of those golf courses go to natural fertilization.
At Augusta, you'd never see that. That banana peel would have been thrown away. Buzzer. Oh, I like a buzzer beater. What do we got here?
Let's see how far this. Oh, yeah. This was a good one.
Oh, man. BYU. This is last night, I believe.
Yes. So BYU has a a technology guy that has spent millions on this, the number one player in the country.
Yep.
Okay. There it is. Boom.
Boom. Wow.
So I can't remember if that's the guy. I don't think it's the guy, but they have a guy they're paying like $10 million this year. And he's the number one prospect. He'll be in the top 3 or 4 draft picks next year in the NBA. And they just went out and bought him. He's from, I think he's from the East Coast.
Okay.
And they just said, we're going to go get the number one guy and we're going to be good this year. And then they've had some injuries. So they only have like a core group of like 6 guys. Yeah, so they've got 3 that are really good.
I mean, that looked like one of those shots I used to put over you in frat basketball in the backyard.
What do you say? What panties or what was the?
Well, it did hit the back of the rim. I did notice that.
It wasn't.
If it had been nothing but net,
yeah.
Yeah,
There would have been a little jawing. I promise you, there would have been a little jawing.
Yeah, and some pushing too, I believe.
Little pushing and jawing.
Let's 4 more to go. Let's see what we got here. A nice color combination: green, yellow, blue, and red.
That one. Done with it.
Done with it. That's kind of what my thought process. My first lap around college. I'm done with this.
Interesting. Gurn, can you throw up which one left?
Yeah, man. That is
Iamalava. Was it the?
So Troy Aikman's not donating to NIL at UCLA anymore, where he finished
I don't remember which player it is. I didn't see that, but is it? Because I think the guy from Tennessee, I can't pronounce it. Who went from Tennessee? I think he may be going in the portal.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Another example of if you don't keep the alums happy that are spending a lot of money, they'll stop spending the money. I
don't know if Troy is cutting any checks to Oklahoma either since he was there for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I wonder how many former players contribute to NILs around the country. I wonder what
That's interesting. I mean, you would think, but it's different. I mean, I don't know. I don't get that warm fuzzy that players are the greatest source, even though you've got some who obviously have made bank.
And they're probably thinking, well, I didn't make it when I was there. Why am I going to pay this guy to do it? I mean, I don't know. I just think somebody's probably going to write an investigative piece about that. We'll know one day. All right, 3 more to go. Red, yellow, and blue on the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. Victoryland open 24/7, 365 exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama.
Gramps is back.
Gramps is back.
I know what this one is. The head coach at St. Michael's in Baldwin County had a tryout with the Colts last year. Hadn't played in 5 years.
Yep.
He's 44, and he signed with the he signed with the practice squad.
Yep. Phillip Rivers, who was played high school ball in Alabama, went to NC State, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely.
4-time Pro Bowler with the Colts. He's back.
And he has that awkward delivery. You know, he kind of throws it a little bit sidearm.
Yep.
And his son, Gunner, he'll be one of the top 10 prospects if he isn't already next year. I think he's a rising senior at St. Michael's. So they had a good year this year. I know they went several rounds into the playoffs. So
man, awesome. I believe he's on the practice squad.
But that just means they can call him up if they need to. But yeah. I don't know who the third teamer was because, Daniel Jones is out for the year.
Yep.
And the backup's injured. And maybe there's somebody else, but I haven't even seen him mention who that is. Oh, Anthony Richardson's hurt. So, right. They're in a world of hurt.
Tough times in Indy. All right, 2 more to go. It is the blue-red combination. We see a lot of that, blue and red. Kansas Jayhawk colors is what we call them. And it's going to land on the red panel, which is doubled up. Doubled up. Huh. Let's see what this is. Oh, yeah. Oh,
boy, this was a hell of a play.
Man.
Ouch.
Yeah. Tough stuff here. Ooh.
Through it hits it. Now all he has to do is get on it. Just jump on it.
Yeah.
Just jump on it. Just jump on it.
Oh.
Jump on it and get down.
Oh, yeah.
Jump on it and get down. What are you going to run it? You were going to run it 80 yards?
Don't they teach you that like the first day of spring practice?
I don't think they teach quarterbacks that, but they should.
Yeah, they should.
Get down. Just get on it.
Get down. Get on the ground. Oh, not good. Not good. Tough. Third loss in a row for the Philadelphia Eagles. I bet Philly is I bet Sports Talk Radio and Philly's
I haven't watched
not happy.
I haven't watched the opening of Eagles games. I assume he says Oklahoma, or does he say Alabama? I assume he says Oklahoma.
That's a good question. I don't know.
We'll go to the chat line and see if anybody has heard that, because
he
had success at both. More personal success at Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know. I'll have to. Maybe he says his high school. A lot of those players mention their high school. All right, last one. Got to spin it to make it official here on the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777
Lotto
topic.
winners.
Lotto winners. Is it like
lot of
winners?
Going.
Lotto
I know
winners.
where this is going. White Sox got the first pick in the draft.
They need it.
And, they need it. But it's interesting. Unlike other sports like football, basketball, baseball #1 overall pick probably hits less. Because a lot of times you're taking if you have a phenom that's in high school, he goes. But then usually you've got a 2 or 3 year superstar in college now, maybe a pitcher. So it's less a big deal, but that guy's going to make some bank. We know that.
Oh yeah. Oh heck yeah. I'd take it. Whether I made the All-Star game or won a Gold Glove, who cares? I'll take it. All right, we are getting close to the top of the hour, which is means we're going to wrap up today's episode of Longshore and McKnight. Barry will be back tomorrow. Gurn Senior, want to thank you for hopping on today so long, and Gurn Jr. as well at Network Control, making sure everything runs smoothly.